Hello everybody, my name's Heather Smith and I am a Birmingham based reviewer for the After Show Reviews. So this is a very special Brum date. You know, update, Birmingham, Brum dates. I love a name. So I just got back from Blackpool after seeing Cats. Not once, but twice. Let's move on to the thing that everybody loves, merchandise. So obviously I got this signed by old Deuteronomy, and below it is the actual actor's signature, which is Adam Linstead. So usually when you get a Cats programme signed, it is signed by old Deuteronomy. But since he signed it as himself as well, I find it more personal because, you know, it's them signing it. You know, and had a really good conversation with him. You know, because I went twice, he recognised me and I was like, oh, that's fun. I got a Cats CD, also signed by Adam. It contains a nice little booklet and obviously the CD itself. And obviously because it was Blackpool, we have some Cats rock. And I got a magnet. I already have one on my magnet board, but I'm going to stick this on with the plastic because it's going to like contain the casing a bit better. I also got some ears. I'm not going to wear these, I'm going to hang them up on my wall. And I got a poster. They weren't selling these, but I managed to get one off the box office. I don't know why they weren't selling them because it says Blackpool on it and there are posters everywhere. And it was just strange because usually they do sell posters because people want them, and people want this because it has Jem McDonald on it and it's got Blackpool. Now obviously this is an entire new cast compared to the London production and the UK tour production where most of the cast carried on. I think there's only 3 original members of the cast that are still in the production. Now something interesting happened with the casting. Both times that I saw it on the Friday and the Saturday, the role of Carl Buckety, which is usually a small male kitten, was played by a girl. Which in all the times I've seen Cats, all 18, 17 times, I've never seen a adult role played by a woman. Which is very good, you know, because it's a good role to switch out to, because obviously people don't know it's a kitten, you know, that's what you're thinking, oh, it's a kitten. Now, the thing is, I never know where to start when talking about Cats. I noticed that both times I went there was a lot of kids there, and I love seeing kids at the theatre because I feel Cats is a very good show to start off children with, you know, Cats, Lion King, and maybe, you know, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, Shrek. What else? Got to be one more. One more? What other kids can kids see? The Railway Children, I suppose, you know. But you know, it's good to see kids enjoying theatre. I mean, even if they don't understand it. I find that most people do not understand what Cats is about. I had a conversation with some people in the audience because I love talking to people, and they was like, I don't quite understand what it's about, and you know, it doesn't really make sense. You know, there's a lot of dancing and stuff, and well, Cats is primarily a dance show, but there is a really good story behind it, and you know, I think if people just pay attention to it, I mean, I find that by seeing a show more than once, you see different things all the time. That's why I've seen Cats so many times, and I find that because the Cats are there to tell you their story from their perspective, it's easier because we're moving in on their home, on their junkyard, and you know that they're saying this is this cat, this is that cat, this is this cat. Ooh, this cat's a bit scary. Ooh, this cat's a bit streaked. Streaked. There we go. That's better. You know, I mean, obviously, I suppose it would be confusing to somebody who hasn't seen it before, but I do totally recommend Cats to anybody. In fact, I do all the time. I was sitting on the front row, both shows. Was it both shows? Yeah, both shows, which was absolutely amazing because, you know, all the cats kept coming up to me, I kept getting waved at, winked at, all sorts, and I think that was primarily because I was tweeting the cast prior and I'd sent them some love Obviously the staging is different at the Winter Gardens, because obviously it's a very small theatre. I've noticed it's about the same size as I don't know whether you've been to Birmingham, but it's the same size as the Alexandra Theatre, I think, or maybe even the Wolverhampton Grand Theatre. It's quite small, but obviously they used the set all over the place with all the junk everywhere, and the tyres and the cooker and the car boot that lifts up and all the different steps and stuff, you know. And people aren't very perspective, because people kept tripping over this one piece of junk that was just on the floor, and all it was a bottle, and it was about that big and sticking out like that, and people just kept tripping over it, and I just kept counting how many people tripped over it, because people don't pay attention at all. See, the music has been changed because of the new revival. To give my honest opinion, some of it's good and some of it's bad. I have always felt that the Rum Tum Tugger should be an Elvis figure, because everyone admires him, everyone's like, oh my goodness. But now the song is like a rap. It's very fast paced, there's a lot of dancing. Actually, there's not a lot of dancing, because Tugger just seems to just strut around in a circle, and then he just does a breakdance flip and all sorts. But you know, it's a good song. I'm slowly warming up to it, but very, very slowly, but I still like my original Tugger. As for extending, the tap number for Jenny Any Dots has been extended. There's a certain amount of extensions, and then bits have been cut out, bits have been added in. Another number that has been changed is Grav Tiger. They've completely cut out the Ballad of Billy McGraw, which I really liked, because it was like a nice little Italian aria, but now it's short, and it's a bit a bit swingy, I think, you know. And obviously they're all wearing different costumes and stuff. Now obviously Jane McDonald is headlining Cats, and I think she has really joined onto the role. She's done really, really well. I mean, her voice is very, very powerful, and you know, I've only ever cried once at Memory, and that was for Kerry Ellis, but mainly because Kerry Ellis just goes woof, and you're like, ooh! I have to see what that face looks like. That was amazing. And yeah, but Jane really brings the emotion, because every time she sang Memory, it looked like she was about to burst into tears at the end. I'm not sure whether it was her acting or whether it was her actual reaction, because it was so powerful and it meant so much. And if you actually do listen to the lyrics of Memory, it does make sense, you know. So let's talk through characters. Mungerstrap is obviously the big narrator of the Jellicle tribe. He's a protector, he's a leader, he's someone who looks out for everybody and what they do. The Mungerstrap was currently played by Matt, and I can't pronounce his last name because it's way too hard, and he won't tell me how to pronounce it. But he was very, very good. I mean, he was absolutely hilarious in Pigs and the Pollicles. He was very expressive, and seems to really enjoy doing that part of the song. Now, Skimbleshanks is one of my favourite characters, and because I've admired Skimbleshanks so much, and obviously because I'd seen the UK tour a few times and the Cats in London, I thought it was going to be really hard to sort of see how Skimbleshanks was going to be, but just seeing him out of his Skimble uniform, you know, when he's just the whole ginger cat thing, when he's just the whole ginger cat, and his face is so expressive, and it's like I'd find myself just watching him, just seeing what he was doing, because his reaction was just like, oh, ah, oh, ooh, you know, and you'd hear him sniffing and stuff, and then when it was his song, it was so hilarious. I could just watch him for hours, and you know, his accent, there was a Welsh accent on there, which was fantastic, because obviously in the Cats film, the Skimbleshanks is dubbed in a Scottish accent, which I've always found adorable, you know. But now it's Welsh. It's like my favourite thing, and a musical put together. It's like, oh, It's a cat and it's a Welsh. Beautiful. I tend to do find myself following like different cats and, you know, just watching what each one does, and because they'll all have their little like quirks, what they'll do. It's like but Bill Bailey will do the flips and stuff, and I think usually Carl Buckety does the flips, but this was like a very acrobatic cast. There was a lot of people doing jumps and flips and dips and everything. So I would totally recommend Cats to anybody. It is playing until September, I think it's the 24th, and then Cats goes back to the London Palladium in October, where Beverly Knight is headlining, and Beverly Knight is going to be amazing. Can't wait to see that. Hopefully there's some new merchandise. So I think that's everything for my review. Obviously it's a great show, great cast, great set, great music. Totally recommend it. Either go and book a ticket and go see it, or if you're not so sure, go and buy the DVD. Or in fact, I'm sure you can find it on YouTube somewhere. The strange thing was, at the theatre they said not to take pictures. And obviously I understand that in when the show is on stage, and you know, when all the cast are there and stuff, because it will distract them, and obviously, you know, it's not a very nice thing to do. But I think that, you know, just taking a picture of the stage, it's just a stage, what are they going to do? I mean, what if that was a, you know, someone who's taking a picture for a production, you know, and they needed a reference image and not ones that they've got on the internet. Then I think it should be okay, really. And obviously, as long as you're not taking a picture when the cat's around, that's what you got to do. Simple. So, this is Heather Smith signing off for Brum Dates. I will see you soon for a review of The Bodyguard.